Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Word Balloon Live. John Suntress here. I'm really happy. First time ever on video other than us doing a convention panel. Jimmy Palmiotti. Great to see you, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing good.
I like that Alex Ross commercial. I knew Alex when he started. Now, he's a Chicago boy, right? So you know probably longer than I do, but I remember the impressive thing people don't know about Alex. I mean, the guy is amazing. Okay, there's nobody like him. One day I'll afford him. I'll be able to afford him to do some covers for me on my stuff. But he's just amazing. But the thing people don't know about Alex is he has a photographic memory.
I believe
it. And one time, I think we were in North Carolina after a con, and we were having dinner. We were all sitting around a bar or a restaurant, and we were talking about people, and it had one of those tablecloths where you can draw on it, you know. Mm-hmm. And Alex, we were talking about somebody, and Alex would draw them. Like I said, I had this guy come by my booth, and he did this and this, and Alex goes, "Oh, I saw that guy too." And then he would draw the guy, and it was exactly that guy. And then I said to him, I said, how were you able to do that? And he goes, "Well, I have a bit of a photographic memory." And then I said, "Can you draw John Romita Jr.?" And bang, he just drew John Romita Jr. It was like some wild superpower he had, you know. It was just so crazy. But anyway, I can gush about Alex for days, but he's truly one of the top guys in our business. I think he should be doing movie posters and I don't know, fine art. 100%. I think a comic. He's done everything in comics. I think he should go to the next level, which I don't know what that is, the next level, but.
Well, you know, he's been making deals, he and Sal, with the Monkees and the Beatles estates, and you know,
actually,
and
he did a bunch of Beatles stuff because I was in a hotel in Vegas, and they had the Beatles show. I guess it was Beatlemania, whatever it may be. Yeah. And Alex did these. I want to say these prints. They had all these prints that Alex did that were pretty amazing. So. Well, good for him. He deserves it. He's a hardworking guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jimmy, you're a hardworking guy, and good for you. Paper film.
Not today. This week I've been doing podcasts, so it's like...
have you really?
I'm noticing some of the guests, like the Nerdettes newsstand, some of the people...
Yes.
And I'm like, they're probably laughing that I'm doing like one a day, but hey, yeah. And hey, nice to meet you, Comic Quirks. Sure, that's not your name. I'm sure you have an actual name.
Yeah, Jimmy's very impressed that Nerdette is here. Absolutely, man.
Oh, well, so
you could praise other shows. I don't care, man. It's all good.
Awesome. She's awesome. Look at that. She was there yesterday. You know, whenever I do a Kickstarter, I try to promote it a little bit, and you know, it's I have my favorite people that I go to, and you're one of them.
God bless you, Jimmy. You're a good man.
There's no more well-researched person than you when I get on when we're talking together. You know your stuff, so I like that about you, John.
Well, dude, honestly, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you specifically about Pop Kill. When you and Dave started promoting it and taking those great old page size ads from like Life and God only knows, Saturday Evening Post, wherever you found those ads, and would just manipulate them and turn them into the Pop Kill ads.
Yeah, that's Dave. You know, Dave's like the king of Photoshop. You know, he just said, you know, what if we took some old ads? And I said, yeah, I don't think we'll get in trouble because it's like we're not selling them or anything. And he worked with 2 soda companies into the ads, and we did that right before we launched, and it got some people talking. A lot of people were like guessing things that had nothing to do with anything. We were just laughing because they thought we were going to start making soda, and I am the first guy to tell you don't drink soda. So
Oh, Tim, I know. I'm re-hooked on Diet Coke, or not
yeah,
Diet Coke.
no, Diet Coke is like
Zero?
Diet Coke's not even soda. It's like it's its own chemical. It's like it's like I had a friend of mine in the business. I'm not going to mention him, but he drank enough diet soda, like Diet Coke, every day. Like he drank like 2 of those big gulp things every day.
Yeah, I don't do that much.
And
But
then he started having skin problems, and it got worse. And the doctor said, "You're gonna have to stop. You're drinking Diet Coke." And he said, "Yeah," and because there's some acetate or something in it,
oh my
and
God.
it started affecting his blood flow a little bit.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so the doctor had him go cold turkey on Diet Coke. There's a chemical in it. It's that fake sugar or whatever it may be.
Name or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good in large dose. It's sort of like black licorice. Like you can eat a piece of black licorice, but if you eat a lot of it, it starts chemically imbalancing your body.
Wow.
Yeah, so they always tell you with black licorice, you never eat a whole bag, right?
Well,
Because it has a certain chemical. But you know how people are in a movie theater. Like,
oh, 100%. No, you're right, man. No, and that's what does lead to weight gain is when you are just mindlessly munching and not even paying attention. Totally, man. You're killing me. You're right.
I'm laughing at somebody's because I'm here for the story how Jimmy cussed out Kevin Smith, and
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
saw that.
I'm like, how many times do I have to tell that story? It's more fun when Kevin tells that story because I think he adds more curses than I did. It was less about cursing out. It was more like Italian guilt I was throwing at him with a bunch of curses. But that's another story for another day.
Oh, okay. Because I assumed that was a Marvel Knights Days story.
It was the Marvel. When we first had Kevin committed to doing Daredevil, and what happened was Daredevil was getting canceled. That's so we were going to take over and start with new #1.
Okay.
And Kevin had a story idea, but the last 2 or 3 issues of Daredevil, Scott Lobdell came on, and he did the idea that Kevin had. So they both had the same idea. They both pulled it out from the sky.
Got it.
And Kevin's like, "Oh, you know what? That was my idea. He's doing it now. I don't have any idea. I can't do Daredevil now." So he tried to back out, and he sent us a fax. I still have the fax because before computers and everything, and so he backs out with Joe. And then Joe gets the fax and calls me, and he goes, "Yeah, this is what Kevin sent." And I'm like, "What can you do?" And then it was like around midnight or something, and I was just getting more and more pissed off. And I called up Kevin, and I think I woke him up, and I started yelling at him, and I started going, "What kind of writer are you? You have one idea? Who the hell has one idea?" And I said, "How can you let your friends down?" I said, "We had to stay in a hotel for 2 days during Chasing Amy, while you were shooting that." And, I threw all the guilt in the world at him. And then he came back the next day with the story that you read in Marvel Knights, Daredevil #1 through 9, I think it was. So he just needed it was less of a cursing out. I probably did curse at him a little bit, but it was more like "Hey, I'm disappointing you. How can you be a creative person and only have one idea talk?"
I'm with you.
And again, I've had like many jobs in comics, so that was my editor's hat I had on that day for him. And sometimes creatives need a push. We're in our own heads so much. It's when you see the creator at the con and he's talking to you like nonstop, like he can hardly breathe. He just keeps because they're home most of the week doing nothing, talking to their cat or something. So they tend to burst at conventions.
I get it, Jimmy. Absolutely, man. No, and truly, this is why I always enjoy talking to you because you have worn so many hats and you've seen the business from a lot of angles. We'll get to all that, but right now, Pop Kill is on the clock.
Yes,
with the last 2 issues, 3 and 4.
Yeah, we have how many days left of it? I think I got like a week or. It actually ends on Christmas Day, which is kind of bizarre.
Okay.
It's by accident. But we it's funny because I've been selling it now to people because a lot of people backed it, and of course we want more. We need more because we hit these stages where we add things to the book. But we did hit 2 stretch goals already, so
Nice.
we're going with a better printing. I'm doing a spot varnish design thing on the cover, and then the stuff we're adding now with the second stretch goal, we're adding more pages. We have an interview with Juan, and we have some sketch stuff from Dave Johnson. So we're going to bulk up the books. The stories per issue are 32 2 pages each.
Great.
So they're already a lot longer than a regular. It's like a comic and a half, right? And then with the extra stuff on it, it gets our books up. With every stretch goal, we can add a couple more pages, and you know how that goes. It's weight and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, we're offering. So I had a lot of people ask me. I didn't back the first 2, but I want to back this. So we're offering all 4 issues. We're also offering all 4 issues digitally for $20. So it's 100 and something pages plus all the extras and the covers and all that stuff. So so we're doing some fun stuff, but it is a story of competing soda companies, and it's based on an idea by Dave.
Okay.
Hit me with the idea, Dave Johnson.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I worked in advertising, one of my clients was Pepsi Cola. It was PepsiCo. And so I kind of brought some of that into the writing too. There you go. When I worked for PepsiCo, I worked in an ad agency. Like I'm a Coca-Cola guy. So we had them come up and they just stared at the can of soda on my desk.
Oh no! Yeah,
intensely. Like if they stared at long enough, it was just going to burst into flames. That's how competitive they are.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is a story about competing. It's twin brothers that were separated. They were conjoined twins, separated. They own 2 different soda companies, like Coke and Pepsi, but different names, and they hate each other, and they want to see each other destroyed. So they involve a bunch of other people. They hire spies, they hire agents, they hire killers, they have scientists. And it's basically a very adult, because there's nudity and violence. It's an adult take on an espionage James Bond soda competition thing. Yeah. And the third issue is the craziest book of them all. But since Juan drew the 4 issues and he just finished the 4th one, that's why we figured let's offer 3 and 4 in one Kickstarter.
Okay.
So everybody can get their books separate. Yeah. And we were lucky enough to get a cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, which was amazing, beautiful cover. And we have one by Adam Hughes that said he was so happy to do, because he doesn't really get to do nudity on a cover.
Sure.
This will be the only place you can get the Adam Hughes cover, which is it's pretty much a girl with an exploding can of soda and a wet T-shirt. That's all I got to say, but it's done by Adam Hughes. It's pretty amazing.
It's outstanding. That's hilarious. Yeah, corporate espionage, man. And corporate espionage meets men's adventure. And I love talking old comics with you. I think to Wally Wood's Canon.
Yeah, it is very much like that. It's also, like modern people reading it, like younger people reading it, can get really offended by some of the stuff in it until they finish the story. Like I always laugh because people read something and then they go, oh, that's horrible, and then they don't read the rest of the story. They don't read and they don't understand the context of what we were doing. And if you like the humor, it's a little bit of humor of Harley Quinn, of course. That's that's a kind of, it's got a tone of like, it's light and then it's heavy and then it's dark and then it's light again. But it is a happy comic. So there's, even though there's horrible stuff, you'll have a smile by the end of the story. We wanted to do something positive in a weird way.
No, it's fun. And yeah, I mean, if you're easily offended, but you guys stress that it's an adult comic book. And that's good.
I got to tell you, I'm over 21. If you didn't guess that now, John. I kind of like my comics a little naughty, a little bad. I don't want to have things censored. I feel like I've earned the right to not only join the army and to drink, okay, but I earned the right to read adult comics and go to orgies and blow things up in my own backyard. So. That's what we. Hey, Sal. That's my Sal. Look at it. Oh, look at him. He's living large. Sal's one of the best dressed guys. I say he's in comics, and he is in comics. He's one of the best dressed guys in comics. And everyone should look as good as Sal. Sal, I can't do it. I don't have the shoulders like Sal has. He's got these shoulders, and all that hair.
The two of you with me, it's like I said before, it's an assemblyman alderman meeting. Where I'm like in City Hall and I'm listening to the guy from New York and the guy from Chicago kind of hash things out, man. It kills me.
Yeah. Sal's done an amazing job with Alex. Look, I gotta tell everybody, every artist needs someone like Sal. Or Amanda needs me pushing her, and my buddy Patrick. It's like we want to keep these guys on the board. We don't want them going out there trying to sell their own stuff, and they don't represent themselves well. You know this, John. Every artist you meet is modest about their own art. They're like, oh, I don't want to really look at it, but that guy's amazing, So they need people to go out and promote them, and really, let people see their work. It's
But
important.
again, this is why I really respect you, Jimmy, because you understand the business end and keep learning about the business end and still maintain the creator side of things as well. And paper films is really what you've done with your creator own stuff, in addition to when you work for DC or Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, you have to fail at a lot of things, right? You have to fail at a lot. I failed at a lot of things, right? I have a shelf over there. It's the fail shelf, which is a lot of books I did that nobody bought, things I did that only I liked at the end of the day, whatever. But you learn something from every one of them. My 15 Kickstarters I've done, every one of them has taught me something a little different, and I'm fine tuning the audience. I'm totally understanding. I have my next Kickstarter is a book called Sex and Violence, which I've done before.
Yes.
This is volume 3, right? And it's different stories by different people.
Good.
And what I learned is people love the title Sex and Violence because it just cuts to the chase. It's like pizza. It's like, that's it. Pizza. I get it. I want pizza. Sex and Violence. So, it's not any 18-word titles or anything. But you learn after a while also with the Kickstarters is what do people really want. And what I've learned, especially with Pop Kill, if you've gotten the first 2 books, I know you've read them. They've read the first 2. But the actual books, I mean, we went nuts with the printing, the paper quality, the spot varnish, the cover stock. We made a comic that the comic companies don't make. We made a product that when you get it in your hand, it feels like something that's, and it's a true collector. If we say there's only going to be 200 or 300, that means it's only going to be 200-300. We're not going to print a hell of a lot more and then have a sale 6 weeks from there, selling it for half price. We'll never do that because
Totally.
So it's really important to kind of hold on to that.
Will you eventually sell it to stores, or are there already store incentives for a store to buy?
I do have like a retailer can buy a bunch.
Okay.
Any retailer that knows me can get in contact with me, and I can do a little deal for them. I always put that out there. It's a boutique publishing, so it's a little more expensive. So it's not like a $3.95 comic. You're paying $20 or $25, but you're getting a signed book that only has a certain amount of copies. And the production is different. I buy just as many I buy a ton of Kickstarters. I just got one today in the mail. Where did I just put it? Hang on a second. I know I have it right here.
That's cool.
I got right here. Jupiter Jet.
Oh, sure.
I just got this.
Ashley and Jason's book. Sure.
Yeah. So I just got, look, there he is. Sure. I got this. They gave me some stickers, which I put on cop cars.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I just slap them on the back of cop cars. I don't know why I do that. It's like a Brooklyn thing. And but I back a ton of Kickstarter. I didn't know I had stickers until I turned this upside down, and they all flew out all over the place. People like stickers. I'm okay with them. I'm not sure what to do with them half the time, and I know there's a lot of people can tell me what to do with them. There's only so much room in my ass. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
I have the second issue of Pop Kill almost ready to share. I just scroll down and see some covers and some art that you got going.
Sure, go for it.
So let's do that. Here we go.
Yeah, man, we're visual. It's a visual time.
Absolutely. So there you go, right from
Dave Johnson.
That's Dave's cover. Yep.
Yeah, Dave's amazing.
Outstanding. No, man, Amanda's killing it on the variants as well.
And this is John J. Hill's design on the inside. Look how beautiful this is. I mean, John is just I'm from now on I use him on everything. And that's Juan Santa Cruz and Brian Reaver. And I'm
just gonna slowly scroll, man, as we're talking about.
And you have to read, folks. There's a little reading involved. But it's kind of fun.
It's a lot of fun, man. No, and I mean, I can even get down to here we go, some of the action that gets going here, and it's interesting too that the soda companies are in Japan, but it
Yeah,
is an international espionage kind of story.
yeah.
Definitely,
We said it in Japan with the with the leads not being Japanese, but it kind of works with the story. There's a reason, you know. Um,
I get it, man.
the dog is Japanese, though. The little dog is Japanese. I don't know if you know that. The pug is.
Well, it's no, and again, violence, nudity, yay! I mean, seriously, we grew up on comics.
Yeah.
There were adult comics when we were little kids, and I'm glad you're doing this. And I absolutely love
more penises. We need more penises.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We just, you know, equal time. You got to give equal time.
That's true.
Everybody, you know, it can't just be all TNA. You know, it's got to. You need something. You know, you need something for everybody.
Absolutely. Listen,
you know, I grew up reading heavy metal. You know.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was comics. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't have an issue with nudity. I really don't. I don't.
No.
I don't have any. Even I love when people curse. You know, we grew up in New York, especially in Brooklyn. When people curse, it just shows they're passionate about something. Even if they're yelling out of their car window, telling you to drop dead, or they banged your mother, whatever they're going to say. There's some passion behind that, you know, and I'd rather have a little more passion. So
no, and again, hey, all ages comics, great. Little kids comics, great. But adults like comics, and again, you've got a couple generations now that have grown up on comics. We want the stories to grow up with us, and I just mean that it's okay to do, like you're saying, sex and violence. That's wonderful. I noticed the end for paper films at the bottom,
right.
Or the last page and everything. And I was wondering where sex and violence was. So it's good to hear that.
We got a lot of different. It's not just me and Justin writing. It's a couple of different writers, a lot of different artists, and I've been working on it for 2 years. So this one's got a lot more pages, but it's crazy. You know, and that'll probably be after the new year. You know, do that after the new year.
That's awesome. Here's the paper film library.
Yeah, there's Painkiller Jane. That's one of my favorites.
Of course.
Monolith, I love.
Yes.
Darwin Cook cover over there on Forager. A lot of Amanda covers and
certainly
Sass. Yeah, a little bright. You know, I'm noticing there's a lot of red on those first bunch. Yeah, so these are the Jimmy experimenting with genre type stuff.
Yes.
And
Trigger Girl, big fan of Trigger Girl.
Yeah, Trigger Girl's fun. Phil Noto, of course. We love
yes.
Phil Noto. Who doesn't love Phil Noto? The Denver, I love. Jane, a nice Bill Sienkiewicz cover. And Killing Time, which is my mine and Craig Whedon's like franchise horror. That's
cool.
Like it's just crazy.
That's awesome, man. No, I as I said, I've been a fan and have supported a few of these Kickstarters over the years, and really appreciated. As I said, as Kickstarter has evolved, you've been there for a really long time. I know you're also a Kickstarter guru to a lot of creators that are getting their feet wet the first time with Kickstarter.
I do. A lot of people. Well, on Twitter, a lot of people ask me questions, and I always answer them.
Yeah.
But I helped guide a bunch of creators, and most of them are doing much better than I am at it. So that's great. And guys like Brian Polito and Billy Tucci, those are friends of mine, so I was able to help them when they were starting, and they're both doing great with it. But it is the future. I want, comic people should understand it is the future of creators. We're a Florida man we can trust. Yeah, you don't have too many Florida man stories starting about me, happily or sadly. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, my town is, so down the street, like 3 houses from me is a lake. And it has many, many alligators in it.
Yikes.
And, so you don't let your cat go out or your small dog go out. And once in a while, the alligators like to come on up and visit people. And I've never had a problem with them. I think they're, like all animals, I like all animals. I feel they belong here more than we do.
Well, yeah, they're indigenous.
We're constantly taking a turtle and helping it cross the road or moving some. I have 2 hawks in the back, and we had an owl the other night, a pretty big owl. So it's like a nature preserve over here.
But coming from Brooklyn, I mean, is it fun down there, or were you going to chill? Because again, as a Chicago guy,
Yeah.
I lived in the burbs for a while. Could not wait to get back in the city, and
Oh,
5 years ago finally did. And truly, I need the city as far as day to day. I like the energy.
I get the energy part. You know, it's an interesting thing because I was a city boy, and in the summer we'd go upstate New York, up in the mountains,
Sure.
and I'd go to camp, and then eventually I started teaching at camp. I was a counselor, and then I
Oh
became
wow.
arts and crafts teacher. So every summer I would go into nature, full on mountains and nature, and I loved it. And so the association as I was younger was freedom and no school and fun, country, right?
Yeah.
And then whenever we vacation, we'd go down to Florida. I'd go down to the Keys. We'd go somewhere, you know, we didn't have much money anywhere we could drive, but Florida we went to. So I associated Florida as vacation, fun, and things. So now living in a place where it's vacation, fun, and again, I have St. Pete and I have Tampa near me. They're both cities.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a beach person.
Great.
So I kind of we go right before sunset. That's my favorite time at the beach. Have a drink on the beach, watch the sunset, continue drinking. So that's a good time. So I do like it down here. If the way I feel about the cities are, like last time I went back to New York, it's around 3 times more crowded than it was. You know, when I was there as a kid, it was not. There were streets you went down, there was nobody, you know, side streets, 49th Street, like Hell's Kitchen. Now it's like a billion people everywhere. So yeah. I don't like it. And then, of course, with COVID, I'm sure everything got much worse, right? So I'm really happy I'm down here for that. But a lot of my friends are in New York, and they have a place to come visit with us. So
good.
It works out fine. I mean, you know, we work at home, Amanda and I. So, you know, we don't really go out that much. You know, other than when we travel. So,
I'm with you.
You know, comic books are constant work.
Well, you know, we're stacking up with questions, so I will let people ask.
Sure.
Nerdette wants to know any projects after Future State. We need an ongoing Hex and Harley. I love them shipped in DM. I don't know what DM is.
I appreciate that, Nerdette. DC has not asked us to be part of anything in the future. So they haven't talked to Amanda and I about work past the this is the last issue of this comes out soon. Yeah, this is Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey. Number 4 comes out in a month, but they have not asked us to do a thing. The last thing we did was a Super Pet story in one of the recent DC books, and that's the last thing I can remember we did for them. They haven't asked us. You know, we inquired about the future, and they were like, I don't think we're part of it. They changed hands. The company changed hands. I don't think they see Amanda and I doing any stuff unless, you know, if somebody calls, sure, we'll listen to what they got. But we haven't been contacted for anything. So if the question is, what am I doing future work for DC? I'd say nothing, because they haven't asked us to do a thing. I did do a mini series for Marvel. That probably hopefully comes out next year. It's all done.
Okay.
That's something for Marvel. And then I think in like a couple of weeks, I did a series. Amanda and I did a series for another company. That's a lot of fun. It's going to make total sense when you see it, that Amanda and I are kind of writing it together, and you'll hear about it. But yeah, as far as DC, we've been working there forever. Once it changed hands, I think once Dan went out of there, I think they just, I don't know what, but a certain amount of us are just not getting the calls like we used to. And it's okay. We take on other work. You know, it's not like I don't have other work. We just, but honestly, you know, we have a lot of our own ideas we want to do, Amanda and I. So those will be coming, you know.
That's cool. You know, Jody Price wants to know if there are any more pro stories in the future. Everybody loves the pro.
So there's like an anniversary coming up with the pro. I don't know what the hell anniversary it is. It's like 30 years or some sad thing or something.
Wow.
No, it's like 20 years.
Yeah. Early 2000.
Whatever the anniversary is, I'm trying to guilt Garth into like writing another story. It's because this is Garth has to write it, right?
Okay.
And Amanda and I will do the art. So yes, we would love to do more pro. It just has to be Garth has to kind of find that story. I already have Amanda and I have ideas, but we don't want to do it without Garth. It's all our baby together. So we wait.
That's fantastic, man. That's great.
Yeah.
There you go. And Jimmy says he misses you at Marvel, but good news, there's a series coming up, so that's cool.
Yeah, there is, and it's fun, and it will make sense once they announce it. So,
and it's funny we mentioned Jupiter Jet earlier. Jason Inman of Jupiter Jet wants to know about that Bond poster behind you, so I'll single you out, and you can explain.
First off, Jason is such a great guy. Jason, you're out there. Miss seeing you, buddy.
Absolutely, he's a great guy.
Let me move. I have this. It's kind of wedged in behind comics. You can't see there's like a lot of comics down here.
Yeah, I don't want you to tip anything over.
And my American flag is actually made. These are all female superheroes. The stripes and the stars are actually female superheroes.
That's great.
Dave Ryan made it for us. But the poster is an original "You Only Live Twice" subway poster from New York. From 1967, I guess.
Yeah, 68, I think. For
68, okay. And the story behind that was there was a comic store in Brooklyn, probably like 30 years ago, was going out of business, and I was helping because he was an older gentleman, owned it, so I was helping him bring stuff from the basement out, and he had a row of posters, and I said, "What are those?" And he says, "Oh, there's some old Bond whatever. You can have them. I'm just going to throw them in the garbage." And that was one of them. Wow. And it wasn't even folded. It was rolled up, which is hard to find. I think this thing's worth a fortune. I have no idea, but they're hard. They're almost impossible to find like that, with no folds. And so I took it and I had two of them. The first one I had was in the Marvel Knights office. We put it at Marvel, and actually, when we moved down to we moved off the penthouse at one point to the 10th floor, and I had it in my office. And then one day I came in and it was gone. Somebody stole it, and so this one. When I first moved down here, there was a bar called the H Street Pub, I think, or something like that. It was called. And when I first moved down, they had like sports T-shirts on the walls, like weird stuff. And I'm like, I told the owner, I said, if I'm going to drink here all the time, I need to have something cool on the wall. And he said, sure. So I gave him this, and then eventually we put 2 Dave Johnson paintings up in there.
Wow.
But because of COVID, they had to close. Sadly, they went out of business, and so they returned. The owners returned the poster and the paintings to me. I have Dave Johnson's paintings upstairs. I'm very proud. He said I can keep them. And because oh well, and I'm keeping them. They're upstairs, and we hung them on the wall already. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But it's a Robert McGuinness painting. So the artist is Robert McGuinness. I'm one of his biggest fans. So everything about that poster works for me because I love Connery, I love the Bond stuff, and I love McGuinness. So it's a monster. I just don't have a place to hang it up yet because it's so big. I mean, it's big. I mean, it's it's subway poster big. So
yeah, man. No, and McGuinness, I have one of those coffee table books of his covers and various paintings. Yeah. You know it, and you probably know the name of the booth that's always at San Diego that has all that great, beautiful, the real original paintings.
Oh, it's when you first walk in that door where the art section is. It's like right off the first side. I can't remember the name of him, but he did have like last year he had like some Norman Rockwell sketches, and he had Leyendecker art and stuff I can't afford.
Yes.
Here's the thing: nobody should have access to everything anyway. And people always go, "Oh, aren't you mad you can't afford it?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I got enough. I got enough stuff."
Well, Patton Oswalt years ago wrote an article, and listen, I love eBay and I love the ease of getting stuff, right. But he's like, what we're missing is that pursuit. And I'm sure it was like this in New York and everything. Yeah. There were just a couple stores in the city in Chicago that had great movie posters or Doctor Who, or I would get albums of old time radio and stuff. And it was just such a joy every few months to go there. Right. And it was like, walking in the Magic Kingdom. It's like, this is amazing. And now it's just like, I want that. Well, it's right there. Done. And it's 2-day shipping is wonderful. But
it is that quick thing. There was a place in New York called Jerry Ollinger's, and it was probably the most famous place you can buy posters. I mean, it was a whole floor of a building. And, you know, I used to go there, and if he didn't have it, he would say, you know, hang tight, I'll put you on a list, and, you know, we'll give you a call when we get it. So, you know, things like, you know, back then, but, you know, you're right. I mean, you can go on eBay, like, I want Fantastic Four number 50. You can go on eBay, and there's 7 people selling it, and you look at the price, or you look at the condition, you know, I still like because I don't do it. I like the hunt of things, right? I don't have to do it about relationships anymore. So now it's about comics and things. And, you know, I was talking to Dan DiDio. We were talking about how, like, we hunt down things from our childhood, you know, once in a while,
Totally
just to hold it again, which is like a very strange thing. But I guess it's very, you know, I guess there's a certain peacefulness to it, you know. And I was telling him I used to have a copy of Fantastic Four #1.
Wow.
I don't have one now.
Wow.
You know? But they're expensive. I don't know if you look lately. They're kind of expensive. I bought mine for $60, and I thought that was the most money I'd ever spend on a comic. But nope.
During COVID, I found myself wanting Hot Wheels cars, and I don't need the collector ones. But
you
I
mean
really
full-size ones? No, I'm kidding. Full-size. What do you mean, like the old ones, right? The old ones.
I wanted Hot Wheels, but I also wanted them because really it was more a missing of the old Corgi cars when we were kids.
Right. Did you want a Fat Track too to play on them? Did you want?
No, I literally, and I only bought, like, every one of the ones I bought were under $20. A lot of them were under $10. But I get, like, there's a Hot Wheels of Scooby-Doo, the Mystery Machine.
Yeah.
There's a Hot Wheels of the Jetsons flying car.
It's crazy. It's like a disease.
But it's great having them, and it's just
we have to have these things. We have to have them.
Yes.
What is that?
I honestly don't know, but that's what. And I was wondering if there have been, since COVID, have you been buying anything online to, like, reconnect childhood wise or anything?
I have been. So I've slowed down on art because it's priced me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will say, on my paperfilms.com site, we put a ton of art up that's like $200, $250.
Yeah, that's great.
It's actually, I was laughing because I was looking at some of the auctions the other day, and I'm like, I have some pages from this book on my site for $300, and they're selling it for $3,000 over here. And I'm not going to change my price because Amanda is like, there's a price for everybody on the original art, you know. Her covers are very expensive, granted, but her Vampirella pages are like $200, $250, very reasonable, right? But then I see people selling them and people are buying them for like $1,200, and I know they bought them from me like 3 months ago, you know. And someone told me, because my site has no bandwidth, like you know, like an auction site. So that's why. And so I always tell people, you know, come look at the site. There's like 200 pieces of art on it, and we make a deal. If it's really expensive and you really want it, we'll make you a deal. You know,
boy, that's
I'm looking at. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, John.
No, that's good. That's cool. No, Drew is saying that buried treasure and back issues at a flea market is my happy place. Absolutely, man.
You know, so when I lived in Brooklyn, it was when I was a kid, and Drew, you'll like this. It was before there was only one comic store near me, right? So there wasn't like many comic stores. So I would buy my comics from the Salvation Army, and I had a deal with the guy there. He would put them in a box, and a big box of comics, and he charged me like $3 or $4, and it'd be like around 300-400 comics in it.
Wow.
I was not allowed to look in the box. He would just fill it with comics, and it would be my potluck, and I would take it home. Sometimes I had 2 boxes, take them home, and then I'd open this treasure. And let me tell you something, because it was 1974, right? Yeah. There were comics from the 60s and the 50s in there. You know, and you would, like, your head would explode with the stuff I used to find. Now, granted, I'd say a third of them probably were Archie or Archie related, right? So it's like Betty and Veronica or Richie Rich.
Yeah.
But then, like, all of a sudden I'd have some EC books, and I'd have like Daredevil 17, and you know, and I used to buy boxes of these. Like every 2 weeks I'd save up, and the guy in the Salvation Army was like, you're the only one comes in. I'll just box them up for you and you take them.
Wow.
And until, you know, that went on for a while, until he eventually, that place closed and he went with it. But yeah, so that was like the treasure, you know, finding a and again, I had no idea what was inside it, you know, and sometimes I had like 3 or 4 copies of the same thing, you know, over time. And
Sure.
then I would start trading with my friends in school. I'd say, hey, look, I got 6 Spider-Man 50s. Anybody want any one of these? I'll trade for anything, you know. So that doesn't happen too often anymore. You know, somebody has to die in order for you to find a house full of. And I'll give you another story if you like that kind of story. I don't know what we're talking about, folks. Back my Kickstarter. Now back to the stories.
Top kill, everybody.
Top kill, everybody. Check it out. It's on my Twitter. You can go onto Kickstarter and find it. I told this story before, but you might appreciate it. So my neighbor across the street, where I lived on Avenue J in Brooklyn, Avenue J and Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, neighbor across the street tells me, he comes over, he says, we're cleaning out the garage, we're cleaning out the basement of the house, and do you want, my dad found some big comics, do you want them? And I'm like, well, it is comics. I don't know what a big comic is, though, but sure. So I went across the street, and he hands me this small stack, and what it is original art of Joe Kubert and Alex Toth, war comics, original page. And I'm looking at him, and I go, this is the original art. And he goes, and this guy, you know, he's in his 60s, right? He's going, yeah, they're big comics, right? They're pretty big. And I'm like, well, they are big. I said, but they're original art. And I said, this is probably worth something. He's like, well, either you take it or it hits the garbage. And I'm like, I will take them. And I still have them. I still have those pages.
Wow.
They were, yeah, it was a beautiful Joe Kubert page, a war page, and then it was another Joe Kubert page, and then Alex Toth war page, you know, all war comic stuff. And I asked him where he got them, and he goes, he has no idea. They were just sitting in a pile of things in his basement. So how many people just threw them out? That's the crazy part.
Oh, well, exactly. And that's why that stuff is valuable and rare and everything.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's amazing. Jesus. I love all of that. That was excellent. Let's see if I know I got new comments coming in a second. All right, let's see. Ozzy Hobo. Which of your creator-owned comics would you love to see adapted in film or television? We already know one that has already been that. Bonus question: who would be the lead? And that's in one of the interviews actually in Pop Kill.
Yeah, I still think Monolith would make a great, like, I want to say in tone Godfather 2, meaning tone of like but I still think a Monolith would be a great thing. And as far as the lead of Monolith, it would have to be a CGI monster. So I don't know. But I think the female lead, I honestly like the idea of a not known actress, because whenever you put a new actor into something, we just see it as them. You know, I still have the brain still goes, oh, there's Brad Pitt and there's Tom Cruise and there's, so I like that. So yeah, Monolith would be one. I was thinking I'd love to actually direct and shoot Killing Time in America, because we wrote a screenplay with that. So I'd love to actually just shoot a low budget film of that one day. And that might be a Kickstarter, try to raise money. I don't know how much I could raise, but I think part of raising it, I would also cast it so you can buy into the cast. I would try to do something so I'd have enough money to actually shoot it myself. One day.
I was going to ask if you had the opportunity, or if you tried to push for that opportunity.
On the Painkiller Jane series, I was supposed to direct one episode, and then I was supposed to write one episode. I did write one episode called The League. It was the 13th episode, and it's the best one on the show. And I was supposed to direct one. And there was some Canadian rule crap that came up, and it all fell apart. But I did actually train with the DP. And then before that, I was on a set with John Singleton was helping me out, like giving me a quick training thing when he was shooting Baby Boy. So
wow,
yeah. So I kind of had, I had a lot of friends really supportive and showing me, and they said, look, you can do this because you already see
right
what needs to be done. But I never got a chance to do it. And hopefully I will one day. Hopefully it would have happened. I mean, these days we're all at home alone, so you know.
Well, yeah. I just talked to Kari Andrews, and he just directed the latest Sniper sequel, Tom Berenger's.
Yeah, I know, Carrie. I was very proud of him, man. That's awesome. When does that come out?
It's already out. It came out in May.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I wish I had known
you
before.
know the title of it?
Yeah, it's I know it's Assassinate, but it's like or rather it's Sniper Assassin something.
Okay, Sniper says I'm gonna watch it.
But if you search, because I searched, because he called it Sniper 8.
Right.
So I just first searched for Sniper 8, and the poster.
Oh, I'll find. I'll just put his name through. I'll find
it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch that. Good for him, man. Yeah, I haven't been, I haven't been that lucky with that kind of stuff, but I have been lucky with a million other things. So directing one day, I like the idea of working with a bunch of people. I like the social aspect of working with people and on something, a project. So that's appealing to me.
And tell me about, again, you said that Dave Johnson was the one who had the initial idea of Pop Kill. Is this the first time you guys have co-plotted together? And
yeah, I mean, he wrote a Batman black and white story, which he ran by me, and it was great. I just tweaked one or two things just because I'm so used to the language of everything. But he wants to write more, and he came up with this idea. And Dave's a good friend of mine, so I mean, the idea that I get to hang out with Dave and work with Dave was like a gift. I say this all the time. It's like the best part of this business is to work with people you like and have fun. And so it was a blast writing it with Dave, and then just doing the Kickstarter stuff with Dave was really interesting. Because he didn't, he's never done one before. So, I was explaining to him how much work it was. By the end of the first one, he was like, "Oh my God, it's a ton of work." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." I said, "Just shipping them out or checking the stuff at the printers or getting the stuff delivered. It is a lot of work, but I welcome it because I know I'm my Kickstarters only get like 1,000 or 2,000 people. So I know all the names on these Kickstarters. So
your patrons in Kickstarter are only 1,000 or 2, or what are you saying?
Yeah, it's like 1,000 to 2 people back each one, like in that number. That's a lot.
Yeah.
People. Is somebody at the door, Amanda? Okay, sorry. My
Sal go ahead.
No, we're good. We're good. She's
okay, no problem. Sal Abenati actually is starting his first Kickstarter, and he said he's working with Dave Hyde on it, and he wants to give any tips.
Well, my first recommendation would be to work with David Hyde. Nobody's going to go out there and make noise for your Kickstarter like David. I use David on every like 4th or 5th one. David's fantastic because he's got the bandwidth. He knows all these how to publicize your Kickstarter, how to get it to places outside comics, because that's really comic people know about your Kickstarter. People outside really don't, or they don't have an interest. So he's really good at focusing. So Sal, I'd say, you want David to reach out to places that normally you can't get it. I mean, it's Sal's. Let's see, his first Kickstarter. So Sal, it's first. Okay, so you're writing it, Sal. Is that what it is? Writing it. Okay.
Well, he wrote and drew it.
Oh, he drew it too.
It's fantastic, dude. Sal's a really good friend, and
I gotta see this, man. But
you're gonna seriously, man. No, it's gorgeous. It's
Sal,
all about
start peppering your social media with some panels from it. Let people see what you're drawing, what you're up to, and then talk it up, and then talk to John and get on his show. And
sorry, a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, get it before before you launch it, right? But
start teasing it before you launch it.
Yeah, and put a little date on your graphics, like launching on Kickstarter this day, And good. Sal, if you want any other information, just hit me up, man.
That's awesome.
John's got my info. A bathroom wall in a bar's got my info. You can find it. I'm easy to find.
I'll send you guys a joint email. That'd be great.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be excellent. No, I'm happy to.
Love to help Sal. It's a great guy.
He's the man. He's absolutely the man. Dante lets us know that Kari's movie is called Sniper Assassin's End.
Assassin's End. Okay, I got it.
Tom Berenger's in it. And looking more and more like Dick Cheney as he gets older. It's so weird.
Yeah.
He went from looking like a young Paul Newman, and now he looks like Dick Cheney.
I like the movie. It was with Tom Berenger where he was the substitute teacher. That was a fun one. You ever see that? He's like a sub teacher, and
Yeah,
it's a goofy one. I mean, of course, it's no Platoon. We're talking, it's no.
Oh yeah, my buddy. I'm friends with William Peterson, CSI.
Oh, no kidding.
He turned that role down because of the Berenger role in Platoon. He's like, I don't want to go to Burma for 3 months. That sounds uncomfortable.
You can say that, and then there's some person that goes, I wish I could go to Burma for like a week or two. So it's perspective.
I hear you, man. No, that's great. Let's see. I'm looking through the questions because I also, depending on how much time you have, I don't want to keep you long.
Say hi to Dante. Yeah, Dante. It's been a while since we've been in the church basement shows, but those were fun. Those were a lot of fun, man. I wish we can go back to that show and start buying things that we know are worth much more money today. That's I'm sure Dante gets that totally.
Just like your Salvation Army guy, I had a store in suburban Chicago, and it was a newsstand, and at the back they just had boxes of, and this was in the early 70s, and like you said, boxes of 60s and early 70s comics that were just peanuts. And it's like, oh yeah, if I knew then what I know now.
Yeah, we would look. We'd be smart just to buy gold back then. I mean, let's be honest.
That's the movie.
There you go. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, it's a fun one.
Because I was going to say Someone to Watch Over Me, or
those are good too. But so Substitute has this like very wish fulfillment type movie. Like you got a bunch of rowdy kids, and he kind of takes it really far because he's like this scary guy. It's fun and stupid, and it should never happen in real life, but it's good as a movie.
I liked his movie with Greta Sachi and Bob Hoskins, Shattered.
Yeah, I know why you like that. I know why you like
that. Please, absolutely. 2 words, Greta Sachi. Absolutely. My God. Come on.
That was a fun movie.
Jim, I also really, honestly, what you and Amanda have done with Harley Quinn, and I always make you talk about the comparison, but again, about adult comics, as it always seemed to me that your spiritual guide for how to do Harley Quinn was Will Elder and Little Annie Fanny and the Playboy stuff, toning it down.
Yeah.
That kind of parody and just, sexy girl kind of surrounded by funny, crazy stuff.
I have 2 volumes of the books right there. I see them right off.
Little Annie Fanny?
Yeah, Little Annie Fanny. I have both volumes over there. Also, if you read our Harley Quinn, and if you want to, Amanda and I grew up on a large diet of Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So when you read Harley, picture her as Bugs Bunny, and the rest of the book makes complete sense. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody go back now and read the Harleys, and it's because she's a bit of a troublemaker. She's picks on everybody. She's funny. She's unpredictable. She can be very violent and then really sweet. She dresses up all the time in different outfits, and it's so Bugs Bunny. And I always tell people, you're gonna write Harley, just think Bugs Bunny, human Bugs Bunny, and
that's cool. Yeah, and I've really gotten to know Patrick Schumacher, the showrunner for the animated series of Harley Quinn, right? And I love the fact that they've obviously, I know Amanda actually. Didn't she help out with the design
She did some turnarounds on the characters, and then she did some set pieces. Unfortunately, they didn't ask us to be involved, though. I mean, it was Diane Nelson that went and got Amanda the gig to design some of this stuff, because I actually complained to her, like, why aren't we involved with this? And so she got Amanda to do it, but they haven't. Here's the thing: the guys doing the cartoon, fantastic. The writers, the artists. Patrick, they're all awesome. They're all awesome. But I wish Warner Brothers involved us. It would have been so nice to be involved with it in some level. But that's always an issue with me with the comic companies. Or I have a lot of things I've worked on that's been like sort of made into other things, and we always wish they would involve us more. But we learn over time, and how everybody watching this should learn over time is. The only control you have is on your own creations. So there's a point where you have to say, okay, enough with everybody else's stuff. Let me do some of my own things. So little lessons you learn along the way,
No, I understand. So I guess, forgive me, but yeah, no compensation for Cyborg being in the cartoon or anything?
We'll see. We'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we should. They're pretty good with that. So that
Okay.
yeah, money's great, right? Money's
Yeah.
great. Don't get me wrong, money's great, but it's not everything.
No. I understand you creatively want to be involved, and I understand, man. No, these are great ideas.
Right.
Clearly good enough to jump
Yeah.
from comics to film and television. No, I
Yeah, I
get
mean,
it.
even we loved Harley and the Birds of Prey. I mean, the Birds of Prey movie, right? We loved it, but it would have been so easy to get us in as consultants, or Amanda to come in and do some designs, or there would have been so many opportunities to at least put Amanda in that production, or put her in roller skates for one scene. You know what I mean? Something. They stuff like that means a hell of a lot to the creators, and it's very minor for everybody else. And the thing is, we're not asking for money, right? We're asking for recognition, or at least a place, a part of it. Look, they're so nice. I mean, the director, the writer, all of them. Margot could not be any sweeter to Amanda and I. We've met her many times, and they're great. But I don't think they realize how much we aren't included in things, Or I don't think it's something they think about too much, really. They're just happy to see us when they see us, and they're like, yay,
Sure.
like, yay. But we like to be more involved with the things we worked. I mean, Harley, we worked on for 5 years.
Yeah.
We would love if me and Amanda and Bruce, and Bruce Timm and my brain is Bruce and
Dini?
Paul Dini, yeah, and Paul. We would love if they got us all out there and were involved, or at least had us in a scene. How much fun would that be? The four of us idiots in the background where comic people can laugh at it. Kevin Smith understood it. Kevin Smith put comic people in his film. Kevin totally gets it. I think Hollywood looks at us like things they have to deal with, and so we hope that changes over time.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Especially with not only film and traditional television, but the way streaming has really kind of taken over entertainment in the last couple of years. I mean, not even pre-COVID.
I'd love to see it happen while I'm alive. That's all I have to
hear
say.
you.
Yeah.
Dante wants to know any chance of you and Joe getting an Ash film or a new comic out anytime soon. Yeah, man, really, I would say Ash is one of my favorite of yours and Joe's creations. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it would mean Joe has to have time. Joe's very busy.
Yeah.
As far as a film, DreamWorks owns the rights for the film. So
wow.
Yeah, so it's up to them to do something or not. We've read many screenplays over the years, but they've never asked us to write a screenplay. But it might be the next thing they should do at this. But we'll see. I mean, it's their property. They bought the rights to the film property, so we don't have that. So
okay.
But we can do new comics. But Joe's very busy with his job at Marvel, and it takes a long time to draw a book. So I don't think we'd be getting an Ash out for a while. But maybe he might show up in a Painkiller Jane story one day in the future. Who knows?
Understood. I don't know if you want to answer this, Chandisuk. What are some ideas you and Amanda had in Harley that were denied by DC?
Well, I mean, we did the Black Label book, and there was some redrawing that had to be done. It was a little too geeky. Some things, it's odd things, because some of it has to do with licenses, because they license out a character, they don't want to have the character do a certain thing. We try to push the envelope with Harley. So with Black Label, we were told we could do anything. And then we started working on it. And then we were told, well, you can't really do anything. You can do this and you can do that. And then they're like, well, you're going to have to change that page. And you're going to have to put some clothes on those characters over there. And you got to. So what we do get away with Harley is, in the Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey book, is a lot of violence, a lot of cursing. Amanda pushes the cheesecake as far as she can. Without them yelling. But the last issue, we have a lot of great scenes with Harley and Ivy, and I don't want to ruin it, but there's Power Girl shows up, and pretty much, so it's our last time we're doing Harley for a while that we know of, so everything in the kitchen sink is in that last issue.
The Palmoitti Connorverse, if you will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is. We do have a I read a whole story about people were saying Amanda and I have our own universe, like with Atlee and Power Girl and Harley and Starfire. And I said, yeah, I said, if they just give us a book, we can put them all in one book.
Oh, that'd be great. Only if Vartox gets to show up every now and then.
Well, he has to be in it. I mean, it would open at their wedding, I think. So, you know. Yeah.
All right, here's a beginner's creator question. Do you have any advice for someone with little or no credits to their name finding people to work with on a comic?
You know, it depends if you're coming from an artist angle or a writer's angle. So if you're a writer and you're looking for an artist, they're obviously online. So you either have to sell them on your idea, or they're looking for a writer, or you have to amaze them with your art or your writing, or you have to pay them. So it's like your time is worth money, so is theirs. So if when you're starting out, create your website, show off your artwork, do your own comics, write, put it out there, follow people that are influences, interact with them best you can without being obnoxious or stupid, and show your work as much as you can. I have people show me their work all the time, and I give them notes and stuff like that. So just get out there. There's Dean. Dean stopped by.
Yeah, how about that? Jeez.
Dean, great artist. Look at that picture of him. You look tired in that, Dean. And you have your shirt on. What's up with that? Yeah, Dean, I love Dean's comics. Dean's a real Brooklyn boy too, and
Absolutely,
his stuff's amazing. His Instagram is great too because he shows a lot of artwork on it. So everyone should follow Dean.
This is true.
Yeah,
big fan of Red Hook and everything he's doing. Some questions that I see on the chat we've already covered, so I suggest rewind and watch rather than have Jimmy repeat himself.
Okay,
his old age does that to us anyway, that we repeat ourselves. So it's
it's all right.
Come on. So this is all right. So we've got you said the campaign for Pop Kill will continue through Christmas.
Christmas Day is the last. It ends on Christmas Day. So
very cool.
So I'm hoping if you haven't backed it, you check it out today. Love you too, Dean. Love him. I miss him. I miss seeing him at the shows and everything. Yeah, a fun guy to hang out with, and just a great comic person. Yeah. So the Kickstarter is still Christmas Day. So you got a couple of weeks. While you're buying presents for everybody else, buy yourself something. Go to the Kickstarter and buy yourself a present. You'll get it within a month. We're going to send it right to the printer after Christmas, and hopefully by the end of January, beginning of February, you'll get your stuff. So
that's great, man.
You have to deal with everybody's holidays at the printer, so
And as you say, you average around 1,000 or so as far as your core Kickstarter.
Yeah, like between 1,000 and 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything? Because again, man, we've been talking for over 10 years about Kickstarter projects.
Right.
And truly, every time I talk to you, you throw another nugget. And I know you're open to people hitting you up online and stuff to get questions. Yeah. But is there some observation now that it's different from when Kickstarter first started?
I think people understand it better. I think they understand. The people doing them have a better understanding, but I think the people that support them are real diehards. Like I think there's a couple of people that I know that only buy crowdfunding comics because they love the personal touch, they love the special stuff.
Yeah.
And they've gone less the big two companies and supporting creators. And that's what the Kickstarters are. You're backing a creator that you like or you follow, or has a voice that has your voice similar tastes.
Yeah.
I know the ones I back are usually visually they get me right away. I like the art first. I see the art first. And then eventually I'm looking at the story. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a great story. I never heard of this person, but I'm going to back it. It looks pretty cool. And then, but when you have guys like, John and, who put out a professional, Jason, I said John.
Oh, yeah, Jason and Ashley. Sure.
Jason, a professional like Jay, look at the book and you're like, okay, this is great. This is beautiful. And
well, they learn from their Kickstarters. I've had conversations with Jason and Ashley, and every Kickstarter they learn a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's quality stuff. And look, they got like nice personalized signature. You don't get that. You don't get that from just anything. These are great, and so I'm always happy to back people that have so much love for what they do. Oh, look,
I agree, man.
Another print. I keep finding things in this book. This is stickers and it's one for each nipple. There's one. Great. All right.
You're killing me, man.
I wanted to do the guy from Spain. I wanted to say hi back to Spain. I don't know what part you're in.
Oh, let me.
I love Amanda and I love Spain. We were supposed to be there this year. We'll be there next year, definitely. So I just want to say that.
I think we answered a couple of his questions already.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to give a shout out to Spain, and
damn straight.
I hope they're doing good with the COVID stuff. I can't wait to get back to Europe. So,
dude, I hear you. Yes, I'm gonna. Sal keeps saying I got to go with him to Lucca in Italy.
I've never been to Lucca. I've never been invited to any of the like Lucca or what's the other one in Angoulême.
Well, what was the one? Because I remember you telling me, and it's my favorite story regarding the pro. And maybe you weren't there, but you heard about it. That they had a giant pro.
Oh, that was in Germany. That was They had a giant wooden cutout from the scene in the book. I'll get the book for you if you got a second.
Sure, take your time. Hilarious. Pop Kill, everybody. The Kickstarter is going through Christmas, and it's the third and fourth issues. But if you go to the current Kickstarter, you can get all 4 issues, and it's amazing. It's a great corporate espionage, fun story, great action, great nudity, great violence. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. So that's why I'm talking to Jimmy today. But it's just a good excuse to get it back and have something new. So here we go.
So in this page, the pro is thanking the saint for saving her baby. And then an airplane wing gets knocked off on the next page. But anyway, they blew this up in Germany. They blew this up and made a giant thing you walk up to, and you put your head where the Superman type character is. So the pro is going down on you, and people and there's a line, and you get in there and you'd smile. And they take a picture, and this was in a convention with kids going on. There was just no rules, right? And they said it was the most popular attraction of the con. People were lining up to put their head through the thing and be the superhero. And I'm like, imagine we did that at New York Con. Like, it would shut us down so quick,
This is why I love Europe, man.
I so want to do that. I mean, how great would that be? It would be the busiest thing at the con until it got shut down.
Absolutely, man.
Dean would be the first guy online.
Come on,
right in there. But that's the kind of craziness I love about Europe. Is anything goes, and we still have. In America, we have still too much stigmatisms about nudity and all that kind of stuff, and people don't talk about things with each other, and there's a lot of conversation that doesn't happen because people don't feel comfortable, and that leads to problems, right? The more you don't talk about something, the more it becomes an issue. So I don't know what that was. It's not really that's an issue. An issue? I don't know. Okay.
Air quotes. I'm with the. Okay. I forget who I was talking to about your run on Jonah Hex recently, but you and Justin and all those guest artists that you got, and that was so incredible. I noticed in your paper film bibliography, I wasn't aware of it when you put it out that you did an individual, a creator-owned Western yourself.
Yeah.
Would you go back to Westerns, or are there other genres you haven't hit yet that you want to?
I am working on a Western with one of the guys I've done a lot of books with. I can't talk about it yet. And it's exactly the kind of story I want to do. It's no holds barred. It'll be a Kickstarter. Great. It is fun. It's about a husband and wife. That's all I'm going to say. And it's a lot of fun, and we're working on it. He's probably be done with it by like June or July. So it'll probably be for fall. And yes, Europe does enjoy cheesecake. Most people like cheesecake. So they just, whatever.
Oh yeah. And but you're right, man. And truly, if we go, especially, back in the day, your Gil Elfgrens and McGinnis and other great illustrators of the day and stuff.
The women I know so many burlesque friends of mine are in burlesque and everything. It's the key is fun. Okay, the key is always fun, it's a playfulness and fun. Nudity is only part of it. It's about playfulness and fun. So we like that.
Well, Jimmy, honestly, I'm really glad. It sounds like you and Amanda have a great creator-owned schedule for next year.
We do. And look, like I said, if something comes up at DC, we love it. If they, if it was something we were interested, sure. But like I said, we will keep busy. We will. I like to say, keep your wallet empty.
That's good, man. No, and then truly, it's always fun talking to you about these projects. So it's Pop Kill issues 3 and 4 till December, till Christmas. So go to Kickstarter and you'll find all you need to know. And let's help Jimmy and Dave and company all hit those stretch goals. And as always, man, massive props to you and Amanda and everybody involved at Paper Films.
Thanks, John. Everybody be safe out there. Wear those masks. We're not wearing them because we're in 2 different states.
Yeah, we're okay. It's
more than 6,000 miles.
Yeah, that's real social distancing right now that Jimmy and I are doing. Jimmy, do you mind hanging out 1 second as I close up? Because I want to ask you one thing off the air. Okay. All right, excellent. Thanks, everybody. Jimmy Palmiotti. Word Balloon Live continues tomorrow, talking to Star Trek novelist Michael Jan Friedman, and a great comic book writer as well. And he's got a new Kickstarter for a really cool series of Aztec detective books that he's been doing. So I'm happy to talk to him about that and his history with Star Trek. So look for that tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.